shackle adapters today, and we're also picking up a couple of drill bits for our winch mount. We need to re-drill holes and make shackle mounting points for the shackle brackets that the machine shop's making for us. And yeah, so picking up our parts, we're going to get our metal, and then we're going to get back to work. So what we have here is our grade 8 hardened, coated 4.5 inch 7/8 bolts. These are going to be our shackle bolts. At some point in time, we might actually swap out the pins, but for right now, we're going to use bolts until we have another solution. So we're here at Access Metals, and we're picking up the metal we need to make the frame to hold the winch on the front of the Bronco. I had some of the pieces pre-cut. We're going to go back and use a magnet drill, do some home drilling, and then start to mount it all up. Video, you saw me remove the bumper and put the bumper back on, trying to figure out how we were going to go about mounting the winch. We do have the modular steel bumper that we had ordered on our Badlands Bronco. If you don't know, it's one plug and 3 bolts here and 3 bolts here. It takes this whole front bumper off. So rather than trying to disassemble it, you can get it off and set it on the bench real quick that way. So these shackle points, we need these for our flat towing. You'll see later our friends at the machine shop, they're making some shackle adapters to work with our military tow bar that you see in an earlier video. So we're going to need to retain these shackle points, but we're going to utilize this point here to make a bracket to hold the winch. So the first thing we have to contend with is this recess in the back of this. What we're going to do is we're going to use 1/2 inch plate, 4 inches wide. We're going to trace this out and drill some holes. We're going to do that twice to make 2 plates, and then we're going to also make a set of 4 spacers. That will give us a bolt-on point here that will take care of this hump, and we'll get this mounted back on there. And then we're going to start using this 3.5 inch quarter wall box tubing, and we're going to build basically a U coming off the front of the Bronco. We have this 1 inch flat bar here that we're going to remake these and then weld these to the front of this 3.5 inch box tubing. And then I actually turned out to be fortunate enough yesterday. My neighbor had a leftover winch bracket that just happened to fit our winch perfectly. This was off of his 2019 Chevy 1500 truck. So we're going to be modifying that to fit on top of our U, and that's how we're going to get our winch mounted on the front of the Bronco. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is trace out and start drilling some holes. We're going to use a magnet drill and get our holes all drilled. Then we'll start cutting the pieces down in our bandsaw, and we'll start doing some weld out on some of these things. So let's get started. Okay, so we've got some patterns traced out here. We're going to go ahead and get this clamped down, and then start our first series of hole drilling. Now what Ford did is they put some slots in here, which we could machine some slots in, but we're going to go just a little more precise with this, and we're going to make our bolt holes where they need to go. They also put 4 bolt holes in this, but they're actually only using 3 of these bolt holes, so we're not going to drill that 4th bolt hole. It's not being used. Alright, if you don't know, this is actually a magnet drill. Turn a switch on, it's magnetized to our metal. Works like a little drill press, and so we're magnetized down, and we're going to go ahead and start drilling. Alright, we're going to take a second here just to check it out, see how it fits in comparison to where they had it on the Bronco, and our holes look pretty good, so I feel pretty confident that we can put that right in place where it needs to go. We're going to test fit our bolt here, and hopefully we sighted that right. Perfect fit. I'm going to cut this now, and if you'll see what I did is I put one of these on each end here so I can chop this in the bandsaw and cut these angles on it to kind of save some grinding. So I'm going to cut both those angles, then we'll cut these lines, and then we can clean these pieces up and make them look like something. up, we spent a little time grinding on them and cleaning them up. We're going to go ahead and get the bolt back into place so we can start fitting the 3.5 inch box tubing here that we're going to mount our winch on. So I'm going to work on getting these fitted back up. Now Ford left some slots in the bumper itself, so the bumper does slide left and right a little bit, so when you're putting this on, you do want to kind of make sure that the lines are right on both sides. I do have these right, so we're going to go ahead and snug this down. Alright, so we have our pieces in place, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get that 3.5 inch box tubing cut the right length. We're going to do it on 45s and kind of maybe notch the ends on them too and make it look real nice. So we're going to get 2 square pieces brought out. We need to take some measurements off our winch plate to make sure that our clearance from there to where the bolt holes are, centering it on this this U-shaped piece that we're going to make here. So that's what we're about to do. We're just cleaning this up a little bit. Somebody welded some tabs on the back of this that we're not going to be using. So we're going to clean those welds up and get this thing ready for putting on. Got that cleaned up. We're going to flip this over now and we're going to clean up where we're going to be welding on it. This has some sort of coating on it from the factory, and we're not going to want to deal with that. It looks like we're probably going to notch these ears a little bit too. That's a piece of flat bar here. So that's about where we'll have to notch those ears at. Okay, so they're gonna have to come off. And I'm not sure the best way we're gonna cut them off yet. I might pull out the torch for that one. Oh, actually, they're only welded in this one spot, so we're gonna grind that weld off and then make a straight cut and get them right off. Okay, so we're going to put the plastic trim pieces back on, at least put them in place, and then we're going to weld inside of the box tubing so we can kind of get these centered where we want them to go. But when we get done later, we want to be able to have this looking as original as possible. That gives you an idea of what we have to work with now. And then again, we're going to get these pieces put on here. I'm going to put these on in such a way that I can take those plastic pieces on and off. I'll probably have to make a slit in this plastic right here so that I can wrap it around this after this is a box. But that's the general idea of what we're about to do. We're going to get our welder set up. I've had a little bit of a habit in the past of putting just a little too much weld on too soon. So this time we're going to go and tack this in place and test fit some stuff before we get carried away. Okay, so here's where we are now. We didn't get too carried away with our welding. It's a good sign. We're going to cut a piece next to go in front of that. We'll do a little bit more tacking. And hopefully this goes without any issues. I'm putting these spacers on here, or these pieces on here right now, just so I can set my piece on and rest it and kind of fit it and figure out what I got to do. Alright, so now you can start to see the idea. So that will go there like that. Here like this. We are well on our way. Alright, we went ahead and made our split there so we can get these off. That's all we really have to do, so we're just going to go ahead and get that out of the way now. There ain't no getting around it. Alright, we got those out of the way. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to weld out the inside of this. I really like the fact of getting that weld on the inside, then we're going to weld this outside. It was my intention that we were pulling this back off to clean it up. I think we probably will still do that. Yeah, we gotta put some paint on it anyway, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna have to modify that winch bracket a little bit more and get it kind of sitting here the way we want it. So those are going to be our very next steps. So we're going to throw a little bit of this DHT epoxy paint on here, and then we're going to put a little wrinkle finish on it and let this set up, and then we're going to go ahead and install it on the Bronco. Because our metal's still hot, that's going to set up really fast. And after it does, we're going to swap over to this DHT wrinkle finish. Pick it up at any of your local advanced auto parts stores. Alright, we got our winch installed. Alright, so what we have here is our tow bar attachment pieces made by my buddy Scott over at his machine shop. They're really nice pieces. At a later date they'll get milled so they lay down flat, but right now it's kind of helpful for us getting it on the truck. We really don't want them to lay flat.
What's the angle on that tow bar?
There they are. We're all installed.